All right, so we're talking more rainfall expected for the area. It will be sporadic with cloud cover non-stop. Temperatures in the lower to mid-70s to start 73 all across South Georgia. 74, the more common number in North Florida. Not much of a difference, as you can see. The next 27 showing that highs will struggle to get out of the 70s and the rainfall will struggle to get out of here. I'll let you know when we can expect to see more sunlight coming up on sunrise.
Right now at 6 o'clock, Tallahassee police make an arrest in the shooting that happened at the La Quinta Inn on North Monroe Street in Tallahassee.
Plus, fire officials in Live Oak say an early morning mobile home fire yesterday was no accident. Now at 6, we're breaking down the new developments.
And the American student freed from North Korea and sent home in a coma has died. This morning, the family calling his death a murder.
Live from the WTXL studios. This is ABC 27 Sunrise.
This morning, we're giving you a look at the Tallahassee man facing attempted murder and sexual battery charges for shooting on North Monroe Street last week. According to court documents, Ashley Dixon met with another man whose name has not been released at the La Quinta Inn. The two connected through the online network Backpage. Tallahassee police say the men engaged in consensual sex. At one point, the victim told Dixon to leave because of his attitude. Now, this is according to court documents. Dixon shot the victim as he was trying to get away. Police found the victim in the lobby of the hotel, suffering from gunshot wounds in the neck and chest. After being taken to the hospital in critical condition, police say the victim was able to identify Dixon through a photo lineup. Police have not yet identified that victim due to the sexual battery investigation and charge.
Time now at 6:02 new this morning. The Florida Bureau of Fire and Arson Investigation says the mobile home fire we first told you about yesterday morning in Live Oak was set intentionally. It happened in the 200 block of Irvin Northwest early yesterday morning. Live Oak firefighters say no one was inside the home when that fire broke out. They say because of smoke damage, the mobile home is a complete loss. The investigation remains ongoing. And to an update now in Jackson County, where the sheriff's office has arrested an escaped prisoner who's been on the run since Saturday. Shannon Lee Harrison was reported as an escapee from Houston County, Alabama, after he ran off from work detail. JCSO says with your help, Harrison was taken into custody without any issues. He has outstanding warrants in multiple counties and faces charges, including burglary and theft. Harrison is being held in the Jackson County Jail.
Now at 6:03, we're learning more about the man who went missing after diving into the Gulf of Mexico over the weekend and why the official search for him has ended. The U.S. Coast Guard says they've exhausted their search by air and sea trying to find 48-year-old William Peel of Shell Point. William Peel, who also goes by Glenn, was last seen Saturday around noon, nearly 20 miles south of Cabbage Creek in Taylor County. Reef divers with the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission recovered 2 dive bands, but no sign of Peel. Shannon Larson of Crawfordville says she's known Peel for 15 years, saying, quote, he was a man that would give a complete stranger the shirt off his back if they needed it. I could call him anytime and he was willing to help. We have lost a great man, end quote.
Time now is 6:04 this morning. A 1-year-old girl is recovering at a hospital in Macon after nearly drowning in Colquitt County last week. It happened at a swimming pool outside the child's home on Celinda Road. Georgia investigators say the mother of the toddler walked away to pick up a ball they threw, only to come back to find her child underwater. Investigators said the mom pulled the girl out of the pool and began giving her CPR before first responders got there and took her to the hospital. According to the Colquitt County Sheriff's Office, she's expected to be okay. And a new report this morning by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention shows gun-related deaths are the 3rd leading cause of death among children here in America. Nearly 1,300 kids die from guns. More than half of these deaths are homicides. 38% are suicides, with 6% being unintentional. The CDC says playing with a gun was the most common circumstance for unintentional gun deaths. One recommendation is to ask if there are guns in a home before allowing your children to play at a friend's house.
More than 500 rising high school seniors from across the Sunshine State are in the capital city today for the start of Boys State, a program for young men with future aspirations to become mayors, sheriffs, party leaders, and public servants. The Florida American Legion Boys State Leadership Program teaches civics to the students by creating a mock government. They are divided into cities and counties and are members of smaller government organizations. Organizers say the highlight of the week is when the students begin to do work as state officials in the Florida State Capitol building and Supreme Court building.
Well, if you live or visit, rather, Cherokee Lake Park in the near future, you may soon see some new construction. The city will start repairs to the lake's dam, fix parts of the boardwalk, and widen the trail on the west side of the lake so that it connects to the community trail. The work is expected to start next month, and city officials say they will be out in the park to hold community walks where you can take a tour to see exactly where these improvements will be.
The Taylor County School District plans to break ground on the new Perry Primary School before classes get started this fall. The school will be built next to Taylor County Elementary School. Superintendent Danny Glover Jr. said the current building has issues with its roof and aging HVAC system and doesn't have a functioning kitchen. They also say it is over capacity. Additional state funding will pay for the project. The price tag? Just over $19 million. The superintendent said $2.5 million of that paid for by taxpayers. Now, officials will share more details in a workshop tonight.
It's 6:06 and some issues this morning in Suwannee County. Officials say sinkholes have shut down portions of at least one road there. Here is a look at that affected area. County officials have blocked off 182nd Street. That's between 129th Road and 137th Road as a safety precaution because of those sinkholes. Now, we do know access to that area has been blocked for several hours, but no word this morning on how long repairs will last or when that road will reopen.
A low-pressure system in the Gulf of Mexico expected to bring heavy rains to the Gulf Coast, including the Florida Panhandle and Big Bend. Forecasters say this system, currently near Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula, is too disorganized to have an official track or strength. But significant rainfall is expected in the Florida Panhandle later in the week. This is a good reminder to make sure you are ready in case the storm strengthens.
And to help you get ready, not only for the potential of hurricanes, but also for the threat of heavy rain in our area, the city of Tallahassee is opening a sandbag location at 9 a.m. this morning. That's at Messer Park South on Jackson Bluff Road. And Alex, that opens at 9. Should folks expect rain around that time?
Yes, expect rain throughout the day. Even if it's not raining currently, it's likely going to continue rather quickly. And we're not even seeing heavy rainfall at this part because we can see Doak Campbell Stadium. So the rain is rather light, but it will continue to fall and it will continue to keep the soil saturated. That way, when there's an actual heavier shower or storm that rolls in, there could be some issues. And again, who cares about the name Invest or potential tropical cyclone? The center of this thing is not going to reach us. We're not going to see any sort of strong gusty winds unless they come in with an embedded storm. It's just going to be very rainy for the next several days. Rain coverage at around 80% or higher. And as you can see here, up to around 12 o'clock, temperatures will struggle to rise, staying in the 70s. Here's a look at the rainfall now. Really just a constant onslaught of this light to moderate rainfall. But occasionally these feeder bands will feed in one of these heavier downpours. Earlier this morning, that's what we saw. It was short-lived, but that's the kind of rain that can cause that flash flooding concern, especially considering there's just so much moisture in the air. And because of that, there's an actual watch out for areas highlighted in green, stretching from Tallahassee to Albany and points to the west. So if you are west of the Apalachia-Cola River, closer to the core of the system, you'll likely see more rain. If you're east of it, doesn't mean that you're necessarily out of the woods, but the rain coverage will be lessened somewhat. Still, the impacts of this can stretch as far east as Jacksonville. Temperatures for now in the lower 70s, but don't be fooled with the cloud cover that the forecast in focus provides. The rainfall will be nonstop, on and off throughout the day, and until around Thursday into Friday, I'm really not expecting to see a lot of that sunlight. So yes, gloomy, but it could be much worse. first say the center of this thing would actually get closer to us. We'll have more details on that forecast coming up in just a few minutes. Malcolm, how's the traffic looking with all of these wet conditions?
Not too bad. This Tuesday morning could always be worse, is what I say. You see the radar now this morning, the rain moving into parts, especially parts of Thomasville. Let's take a start there in South Georgia. Folks, keep that in mind as you head out of the door. Give yourself a few extra minutes. The road's likely slick. Don't want to take the roads too fast as you head out of the door. Some slight congestion around the 19 area, so keep that in mind as well. Otherwise, through 19 downtown Thomasville looking pretty good.
I just wanted to pass on word that Otto Warmbier has just passed away. He spent 1.5 years in North Korea. A lot of bad things happened, but at least we got him home to be with his parents.
President Donald Trump offering his condolences to the family of Otto Warmbier, who died last night. This happening just days after being held by North Koreans for more than 17 months.
ABC's Dana Backus has the latest as his family searches for answers after their son's untimely death.
He arrived in the U.S. less than a week ago, carried off a plane suffering from extensive brain damage, more than a year since the world heard his plea for mercy.
Please save my life. Please think of my family.
In a statement today, his parents say when Otto was carried off that airplane, he looked very uncomfortable, almost anguished. But within a day, the countenance of his face changed. He was at peace. He was home, and we believe he could sense that. But he could not walk, talk, or respond to verbal commands. And today, he passed away, surrounded by his family. Since the moment their son was sentenced to hard labor for stealing a propaganda poster, the Warmbiers were fighting until he was released.
We're thrilled that our son is on American soil, and I'm able to talk to you on Otto's behalf, and I'm able to wear the jacket that he wore when he gave his confession.
The family clearly blames North Korea for Otto's death, saying today the awful, torturous mistreatment our son received at the hands of the North Koreans ensured that no other outcome was possible.
Now, it is not yet clear what impact his death will have on the already tense situation between the U.S. and the rogue nuclear power, but at least one top Republican wants to ban tourist travel to North Korea after Otto Warmbier's death.
Well, still ahead this morning on Sunrise, new details about the death of actress Carrie Fisher. What the toxicology report shows was in her system when she died.
Plus, a targeted terror attack overnight in Paris. Next at 6, we take you to the popular tourist destination where police say the suspect tried to use explosives. Stay with us. It's 6:13.
Right now at 6:30, a grand jury indicts a second man in the murder of a former beauty queen.
Plus, a woman and her child forced into a car in order to drive to Alabama, all by a man they didn't even know. This morning, that kidnapping suspect police need your help looking for.
And hundreds of Perry mill workers ready to go on strike. We have new information regarding labor negotiations.
Live from the WTXL studios, this is ABC 27 Sunrise.
Closure for the family and friends of Tara Grinstead. A grand jury indicts a second man in the case. Bo Dukes has been charged on 3 counts, including burning Grinstead's body, concealing her death, tampering with evidence, and hindering the apprehension or punishment of a criminal. Grinstead, a former beauty queen and Irwin County high school teacher, disappeared in October 2005. It wasn't until late February of this year when GBI arrested Ryan Duke. Investigators believe Bo helped Ryan remove Grinstead's body from her Osceola home. A trial date has not been set.
6:32 now, and happening right now. Police are searching for a man they believe is responsible for putting a woman and her young child in danger. Investigators say Dervosky Morgan is now wanted on charges of kidnapping, aggravated assault, and aggravated sexual battery. According to officials, Morgan forced a woman and her child into a car and ordered her to drive him back to Alabama. Reports said the female driver stopped at multiple gas stations to ask store clerks to call police. Morgan was last seen at a gas station in Lee County. If you have any information, call Thomasville Police.
Now to a story we first brought to you on Sunrise. Thomasville police say people are leaving themselves vulnerable to car break-ins by leaving doors unlocked. In this newly released surveillance video, you can see a suspect walking up to a car near Thomas University, checking the door handle to find that it's unlocked. Over the weekend, around 11 vehicles were broken into. Police are urging people to lock their doors. Also, Thomasville police are searching for a suspect who they say threatened to kill a woman and then stole her vehicle. Police say the suspect, Emilian Denton, held a knife to the victim's neck and face. This incident happening at the Villa North apartment complex off Old Albany Road. Police say Denton did get away with her green Saturn. It was later recovered at a nearby Waffle House.
Meanwhile, a Thomasville man is recovering this morning after police say he was hit in the face with a gun. This happened around noon Sunday on West Merrill Street. When officers got there, they say the man was covered in blood and his face was severely swollen. The victim told police he was hit in the face with a gun during a fight.
New data is in from the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, and Gadsden County's overall crime rate decreased for the 4th year in a row. The report shows that overall crime has dropped by 70%, and there's been a decrease in robbery and aggravated assault cases. Gadsden County Sheriff Morris Young attributes this decline to the diligence of his staff.
We were presented with an opportunity to work with Live PD, which airs on A&E, to give a little insight on how the day-to-day operations work as far as uniform patrol goes. The camera crew rides with us, and we take it from there.
The Kelly County Sheriff's Office made its TV debut on Saturday. They were featured on the A&E network show Live PD. It's a show that focuses on what law enforcement really does to keep you and I safe. The documentary-style series gives viewers unfiltered access to the busiest police forces in the country. Kelly County officials say they decided to get involved in order to give you a behind-the-scenes look at how law enforcement agencies in your community engage.
Well, officers with the Tallahassee Police Department inviting people out for a little chat over an ice cream cone. And it's all in an effort to build trust between local law enforcement and the public. Organizers say this face-to-face time helps officers shape the way local residents view them. The event was hosted at a Chick-fil-A. That Chick-fil-A was at Bradfordville.
6:35 now. Governor Rick Scott is in Connecticut trying to lure businesses here to Florida. But Connecticut's governor says not so fast. Scott wasn't pulling any punches as he made his pitch to why Connecticut-based businesses should consider packing up and heading south.
I'm going to go after every company. But look, if you have a significant investment in capital, it's hard to move. You know, you got to think about that capital investment. But think of how many people don't have a big investment in capital. Look at all the hedge fund business that can move. They just have laptops. They can move just like that.
Now, Governor Daniel Malloy is fighting back, adding while he knows the state faces a number of challenges to overcome, it's committed to working with the state and local government.
They have a very high violent crime rate. They are subject to devastating storms. They don't have the skilled workforce, particularly in manufacturing, that we have in the state of Connecticut.
Governor Malloy went on to slam Florida's schools and literacy rates as well.
An Uber driver cited $250 in Miami for not speaking English. Miami-Dade officials say 54-year-old Carmen Hechaviera received a ticket after dropping off passengers at the Miami International Airport. Authorities say Hechaviera, who only speaks Spanish, was fined after she couldn't understand an officer who was speaking English. A county ordinance says drivers of ride-hailing apps must be able to communicate in English. Now, in a statement, Uber says the app allows people to communicate even if they don't speak English.
Well, this week, the Florida Aviation Center is allowing teens to learn from professional pilots and aviation educators. It's all a part of the Teen Pilot Jumpstart program. Teens will get actual flying lessons, starting out with a full motion simulator and later at an actual cockpit. Organizers say they hope this will help the current pilot shortage worldwide.
An endangered Florida panther was struck and killed by a car. It's the 11th fatal collision this year out of 15 total panther deaths. And according to the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission, the panther's remains were found Friday in Hendry County. Officials said the panther was around 3 years old and was a male. Only about 230 Florida panthers remain in the wild. WTXL Road Trip is back, and we're highlighting unique stories, places, and people in and around our communities all summer long. This Thursday, we're in Jefferson County, and starting at 5 a.m. through 6 p.m., we're taking you to a place that is a must anytime you come to town. That's WTXL Road Trip, Jefferson County, Thursday on air and online only on WTXL. ABC 27.
Good news, by the time we roll into Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for the weekend, most of this will be gone. But until then, the rainfall threat will be with us. And we can't rule out some showers for the weekend, but those are your typical summertime showers and storms, the ones that pop up with the daytime heating and the rise of moisture, something that you just cannot rule out during the time of June. So sad to say that we'll never get rid of the rain chance, but at least we'll get rid of this cloud cover after, say, Thursday morning. I expect more sunshine to return.
Thursday morning?
Yeah, it's probably going to be cloudy like this throughout. Don't be surprised if you see some peaks of sun, but it's going to be really hard to come by.
Okay.
Well, it was a close game for the FSU Noles as they went head-to-head against CS Fullerton.
Kyle Logan has the highlights in your Sunrise Sports.
Lots of time to hang. Camp lasts until Thursday, and we'll even feature a dunk contest on Wednesday. And that's going to do it for your Sunrise Sports this Tuesday morning. I'm Kyle Logan.
A dunk contest? I would like to take you on that.
No.
Why not? It'd be fun.
I thought you were going to say you would win.
I would win. Okay, well, straight ahead this morning on Sunrise, officials in Live Oak now ruling a mobile home fire as arson. We have the very latest coming up. Rain is continuing.
Yeah, that's right. We'll follow more of that heavy rain threat on Good Morning America. So just if you want more updates, stay tuned to that.
All right, make sure you join us for Second Cup.
Bye-bye.